We're all taught that getting good with money is about what you know, that it's some kind of hard science, all formulas and spreadsheets. But what if that's just completely wrong? Okay, let's dive into this explainer on Morgan Housel's incredible book, The Psychology of Money, which argues that getting wealthy has way less to do with how smart you are and way more to do with how you behave.
To really get this, let me tell you about two guys. On one hand, you've got Ronald Reed, a janitor. And when he died, he shocked everyone by leaving an $8 million fortune to charity. Then, on the other hand, you have Richard Foscone, a Harvard-educated Merrill Lynch executive who, despite all his training and success, went completely bankrupt.
So you have to ask yourself, right, how is that even possible? If being successful with money isn't about your IQ or where you went to school, what on earth is it about? I mean, think about it. You would never see a story like this in any other field. You'd never have a janitor performing a better heart transplant than a Harvard surgeon.
And that brings us to the core idea of the entire book. Financial success is not a hard science, it's a soft skill. What you know matters so much less than how you act. It's all about psychology, not about physics.
And a huge piece of that psychology comes down to this one incredible idea. Housel writes that our own personal experiences with money are this tiny, infinitesimally small slice of everything that's ever happened, but they make up maybe 80% of how we think the world works. This means no one's crazy. The janitor's saving habits and the executive's lavish lifestyle, they made perfect sense to each of them based on their own unique worldview.
And this is illustrated perfectly by the stock market itself. I mean, just look at this. If you were born in 1970, you watched stocks go on an absolute tear during your most formative years. But if you were born just 20 years earlier, in 1950, you basically saw the market go nowhere. Just imagine how that would shape your entire outlook on risk and reward, and it's all based on the dumb luck of when you were born.
So this all points to two huge hidden forces that have this massive impact on our financial lives. These are forces we usually prefer to ignore, but they're always there. And they are luck and time. Think about it like this. Luck and risk are siblings. They're two sides of the same coin. Bill Gates experienced just insane 1 in a million luck by happening to go to one of the only high schools in the world with a computer back in 1968. But his friend Kent Evans, who was just as smart and was his likely partner for what became Microsoft, he experienced 1 in a million risk and tragically died in an accident. Same force, same magnitude, completely opposite outcomes.
Recognizing luck is a really big deal. But Housel argues there's an even more powerful force that we have to understand, and that force is time. And there's no better person to look at for this than the most famous investor in the world, Warren Buffett.
Okay, look at this number. $81.5 billion. It's a staggering amount of money, and it represents almost all of Warren Buffett's net worth. But where did it come from? Well, the answer is probably not what you think.
That money, pretty much all of it, came after his 65th birthday, after he was already eligible for Social Security. Just let that sink in. Buffett is a phenomenal investor, no doubt, but his real secret, his superpower, is that he's been a phenomenal investor for 3/4 of a century. His skill is investing, sure, but his true weapon is time. That's the mind-bending magic of compounding.
So if we know that financial success is all about managing our behavior and using these hidden forces, what's the actual skill we need to learn?
Well, Housel says the hardest one of all is about getting the goalpost to stop moving.
Let me tell you a cautionary tale about a guy named Raja Gupta, former CEO of McKinsey, worth $100 million. He had everything, but he wanted more. He just had to be a billionaire. So he risked everything he had and everything he needed for something he didn't have and didn't need at all. And where did it get him? Prison.
So what drives someone who has it all to do something so self-destructive? It's the poison of social comparison. It's a game with a ceiling so high that nobody can ever win. There will always be someone with more. And as Housel puts it, the only way to actually win that game is to refuse to play. It's all about knowing what is enough. And all of this leads to a really fundamental question, doesn't it? If the point isn't just to have more than the person next to you, then what is the whole point of building wealth in the first place? What is money really for?
Well, first things first, we have to understand the difference between being rich and being wealthy. Being rich is visible. It's the fancy cars, the big house, it's spending a high income. But being wealthy, that's hidden. It's the money you don't spend. It's the unspent assets that buy you something way more valuable than a new car.
So, what is that ultimate dividend that true wealth pays you? It isn't stuff. It's control. It's having the freedom to take a job that pays less but means more. It's the flexibility to handle a medical emergency without breaking a sweat. It's the simple, incredible freedom to wake up in the morning and say, I can do whatever I want today.
And this right here is maybe the biggest takeaway from the entire book. Forget the luxury goods. The greatest prize that money can possibly offer is your own autonomy. Housel says it perfectly. Controlling your time is the highest dividend money pays. That's the real endgame.
So to bring this all home, success with money, it isn't found in a textbook or on a spreadsheet. It's found in your own head. It's this internal game of mastering your own behavior, of understanding luck and time, defining what enough means to you, and aiming for the one thing money can actually buy you: freedom.
And that leaves us with one final, very personal question to think about. A question that takes all these ideas and puts them right into your life. What does it really take for you to have control over your own time? What really is enough for you?